I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is Compton Gap. This is mile marker 10. There's the gray ghost. Here's the parking lot here at Compton Gap. Nice lot. And I'm going to cross over to the west side over there and start looking for an old abandoned logging road. The elevation here is 2,400 feet. So over there is the parking lot, Compton Gap. I came up here. This is the Appalachian Trail. And right here at this tree, it makes a hard left and continues to climb up Compton Peak. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I don't see I don't see a road really, but I'm going to start hiking some coordinates, and when I get back in here further, maybe I'll find the road. But it's off in this direction. My initial compass bearing is going to be about 270 magnetic. Four-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 2,440 feet. I've been hiking a little uphill and a little downhill to this point, looking for the old road. I really haven't found it. Now, this right here, though, look how clear that is through there. So, and it's at the slope would come down and wash across the road, so it could easily, in 100 years, it could easily wash the road out. But you see how there's no trees down through there? So this, I don't know, this might be it. I'm going to mark this point where I'm standing and then compare that with the map when I get home. There's another area right down there that's fairly flat that could be it. Not sure. But since I'm up here a little higher, I think I'm just going to continue this straight. When I get up there to that rise, maybe I can look down here and see what I think about that. There's the other side of the valley. The headwaters of Land's Runner down there, and Compton Gap's back this way. This part isn't all that rocky, but the first tenth of a mile, well, let's say the first quarter of a mile from Compton Gap heading west, really rocky, and it was kind of slippery. It was ice, a little bit of snow and ice still. And I'm going to head this way. I'm close to the correct position, but I'm just going to keep going to my waypoints and maybe something will become more apparent. I do know this from looking at the map. The mountain's going to get steeper than this when I get down here a little further west. .5 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2,440. I'm hiking at more or less constant elevation, which is easier said than done on a slope like this. But that's the way I'm headed. Down there is Land's Run's headwaters. Here's the other side of the valley. And that's where I came from. This area right here with all these bare rocks there's a fold in the mountain here. I'm at my Compton Gap 1.5 waypoint. I picked that because it was here at a fold in the mountains, so that matches up pretty good. I still don't see much of a road, although that could be more of it. It's heading off in the in the correct direction, so I'm going to keep bushwhacking this way. Eventually, if I follow this far enough, I'm gonna walk out of this and down onto Lands Run Fire Road. So, worst case, that's what I end up doing. Seven-tenths of a mile into my hike, I dropped down on the mountain just a little bit. The elevation here is 2370, and I finally found the road. So I'm gonna reposition. This is my waypoint, Compton Gap 2. So I'm gonna reposition this and say it's a verified point now. That's looking to the west. That's where I'm headed. I was up there a little ways, up on that ridge, a little too high. This is looking back the other way. I mean, you can't see really where the road was back in through there. That's headed back the way I came from, Compton Gap. Down there's Lands Run, way down there. And here you go. So this is the actual road right here. Hopefully I can follow the road now from here to Lands Run Fire Road. .74 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2,315 feet. Still following the road now. I'm at my waypoint, Compton Gap 2.5. I'll mark that one verified. I repositioned it slightly, but I'll mark it verified. Continuing to hike west, which is in that direction. I picked this point because this is another drainage ditch. There it is right there, heading down towards Lands Run. And that's the way I came from. So, pretty steep terrain here. We're going to continue hiking to the west. .84 miles into my hike, starting to drop down a little bit now. The elevation here is 2230. That's the way I'm headed. The mountain's not so steep here, so they don't have quite as many clues as to where the road was, but there it is there. Up there's where I came from. The road's been dropping down some. It's pretty steep up there. So I'm going to drink a little water and then just continue on to my next waypoint, which is 3.1. I have them spaced fairly close together now because the mountain, looking at the topo map, the mountain was getting steep and making a lot of course changes, so I put in more waypoints. But I'm headed to 3-1 now. .9 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2,210 feet. And I'm going to be dropping down some more, it looks like. That's the way I'm headed. It's getting harder to see the road now. I'm at my waypoint 3-1. Hold on, let me take a look. I'm at waypoint 3-1. And there's a fold in the mountain right here. There's the drainage heading down towards Lands Run. And I came from this direction over here. So, getting harder to see the road, but I'm just going to keep going from waypoint to waypoint. 1.04 miles into my hike. I'm down to 2,110 feet. And I am getting ready to, I'm still on the road. It's hard to find it though, but I'm still on the road. And I'm getting ready to make a sweeping left turn and continue descending over that way. So let's see. I'm in a little drainage area here now. And I came from up there. Still following the road. I'm at a pretty steep part of the mountain here. That's where I'm headed. Just for kicks, I'll do a 360 here if I can do it without falling down. Let's see. There's another little ridge line over there. Up there's where I came from. We're starting to drop down way up there. And headed down towards Land's Run. .8 miles into my hike. I'm down to 1,540 feet. I'm finally down on the Land's Run Fire Road. Came out of the wilderness. The last bit of this hike was basically just bushwhacking on a compass bearings and following a stream down here. Here's the stream right here. It goes under the road. Right there. Following the stream down. And right here, just to the left of it, is the worn out trace of an old road. I'm going to move my Compton Gap number 6 to here. It's off by at least 100 feet, so I'm gonna reposition it to here. So I got to go. It's probably a mile back up to Land's Run Gap, and then from there I got to follow Skyline Drive and probably another mile to Compton's Gap. So I got a lot more hiking to do, but it's all either on this road or Skyline Drive. .5 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,720 feet, and this fire road takes you past this Land's Run waterfall. Here's the stream coming down off the side of the mountain, and then right here's where it drops. It's more of a cascading waterfall all the way down there, and then there's another cascade a little further down, on down into the valley there. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Chester Gap, 1994. And I was bushwhacking, looking for an old abandoned road just west of Compton Gap. Compton Gap is right here. You can park here. This is mile marker number 10. And there's actually 2 old abandoned roads. This one in pink, it was the main road back in the day. I already bushwhacked this one. I have a video on that on my webpage. The one that I was bushwhacking today was this one here. Now, this road up here is fairly easy to find. It's well defined, and this was the main road. This one here, not so much. I had a hard time even finding any evidence at all of the road until I got to right about there. And then starting there, I started noticing parts of the road. It's fairly constant elevation until you get to here. Then it starts dropping down. Then you have another turn. Then it starts dropping down again. Then this section here is really steep down to here. Then it flattens out, and you basically follow a stream down here to the Lands Run Fire Road. Then I had 2 choices. I could either go back the way I came. Well, this was a fairly difficult bushwhack, so I didn't want to go back that way. So I went up the fire road like this, up to Lands Run Gap, and then got on Skyline Drive and circled back to my car here at Compton Gap. Ended up being 4.4 miles with a total ascent of 1,079 feet. And that was the hike for today.